Hello and welcome to the PLP. Welcome back. It's the final PMP highlight installment of the season, of the main season anyway. We've come towards the end of League 1, League 2, the National League Prem, and actually we should have finished League 2 on Saturday, but such was the deluge of fixtures that we've crept into Monday. With these three games you can see in front of you, we'll hopefully go to the middle one first. That's what I'm trying to get to, because it doesn't have anything riding on it. Just Dan City wide, trying to keep up some momentum going into their final Europa League campaign. But then the other two, there are three teams left vying for one playoff place. Warringham, not on the screen, have already done what they can do, and unfortunately for him on Saturday that was a loss which secured Cheshampton automatic promotion and left him at the mercy of really myself, but potentially also Bustin Villa. Paul will need to beat Alex's Leeds UniTodd by 6 goals and hope that I lose to still make the playoffs. You know, stranger things have happened. But if that miracle doesn't take place, then it's down to me, and I do still need a win. A draw's not enough. My goal difference is inferior to Warringham's, so I will need to beat Ned to claim that final spot. And actually, if I do, I think I jump a few spaces in the process. It's a bit of all or nothing for me. And of course, they've just gone the complete opposite way of how I intended. So if I win this game, then the other two are really kind of redundant. This is peeling off the plaster quickly for both me and Paul, at least. So look at the league table briefly in a second. Here we go. So you can see I'm 1 point behind Warringham, but 10 goals behind in the GD column. But if I do win, I'll suddenly shoot up to, just checking, just one more place really, but 6th, and secure myself a date against the Red Wall. And of course, in this massive game, Sir Bobby has run changes for no reason whatsoever. Still no place for Michael Owen in this game of games. I was about to chastise the Kieran Dyer, Thomas Hitzelsberger centre midfield as well, but he's immediately got injured. Lewis Miley taking on that pressure now, because of course it would be mental to play Michael Ballack in this big game, and immediately Ned is ruining my party. To be fair, I am going to be a lamb led to the slaughter if I make the playoffs. I've been atrocious since the turn of the new year. All of my points have pretty much been secured in the first half of the season, and against non-draft teams more recently. Warringham, who for so long looked like they were going to get automatic promotion, are going to be far better competitors in the playoffs, and I think far more deserving, to be honest, as well. So genuinely I don't mind what happens here. And clearly neither does Sir Bobby. This could be his final game in the project, retiring this summer, and he's decided to go out with a whimper. Very bizarre. It's like the end of the season in Sunday League, where you just sort of pick names out of a hat for which position they're playing. He's done it for the actual lineup. He's 4 substitutions down now, with still no sign of Owen or Ballack, so we're only going to get 1 at most. But what this result would do is pique Mr. Bustin's interest if he can ping in 6 goals against Leeds United. Vieira's suddenly gone to this back 3 for Arsened in the past 2 games, doing some experimenting ahead of next year. And that's the 2nd goal in the same number of games for Per Mertesacker. Not the usual towering header from a corner, him blasting one from 25 yards, but such is the life of me on FM. That back 3 working wonders, stepping up into midfield. What a hit. I'm generally almost relieved I can go into that summer. The final substitution you'll ever make is a centre-back for a centre-back while chasing a game to get promoted. You've got to love it. I will now go away and think about what manager to replace poor senile Sir Bobby with. But I can crack on with the summer draft and the summer finals without this lingering over me, and without getting completely embarrassed in a playoff semi-final 2-legger like I was last year with Chesh. It's quite a frustrating result for Ned though. I mean, if he played like this for most of the season, he would have sustained his early season title challenge. It's also completely fair because I'm seeing Matt Warrington on Friday. He's giving me a load of baby shit, so I mean, the least I can do is let him play in the playoffs. This level of rotation for this significance of game is absolutely outrageous. A true testament to managers failing slightly sometimes. But I'm left with a really tricky decision as to who I bring in to replace Sir Bobby, because there's no one really of a Newcastle ilk available. Certainly not at the moment. I could do with Kevin Keegan being sacked by, I think it's Bolton A, but I don't think that's going to happen. He would have been my only natural choice, maybe Eddie Howe, but I think he's settled somewhere as well. Last time I checked, the only former Newcastle manager who was available is Kinnear, so I don't think I'll be going there. I do have the slight misfortune of being the only drafter that has been forced into a manager change. Everyone else has had the luxury of choice. Not a single shot on target, which is mental considering we've dropped our two best strikers and our best centre midfielder. It's all on you, Paul. The only person that can now stop Matt Warrington from taking part in those summer events. For anyone thinking that I cheat on this game, Exhibit A. Before we get to that other game though, Wyman finally finishes his ruthless league schedule to try and catch up. He's played every other day for God knows how long, and actually he's really found some form. I think he's something like 11 or 12 games unbeaten at the moment across all competitions. Of course, that includes a slightly more favourable Europa League campaign as well, which his semi-finals kick off this week, I think on Wednesday. Van Gaal continues to trial youth players. I say youth players, we've got Mr. Carrington, whoever the fuck he is, at right back, sitting in front of a very non-youth player in Bruce Grobbelaar. He came off the bench the other day with I think it was an injury to, I can't remember who his keeper is now. Richard Wright it was. And now he's got big Bruce. Fantastic to see that he's getting game time, and as far as I can tell, he still hasn't announced his retirement yet, so he might be in for another year. Those retirees presumably ramping up over the coming days. I'll try and keep on top of that. The only notable one, and that isn't even really that notable, is Wes Hoolahan at Leicester. It's only really notable because it's going to force Matty into at least a random round pick this summer. Another youthie coming on, as he likes to be called. I suppose this is the merit of Jack, the merit of the team pick. Looking back to that summer of 24, we've seen it with Tom Dauncey and the Dauncey Devils as well. A few Man United youth prospects making their way into the reckoning. And of course, when it comes to Regens as well, they'll have better academies, better youth setups, better youth recruitment. So you never know, depending on how long this project goes on for, it might come into play. Drogba, 23rd goal of the season. He's done it kind of subtly and quietly, gone about his business. Not been prolific, I wouldn't say, despite reaching that lofty figure. I think a lot of those have come in Europe. A bit of a cup specialist stand, so I think he always also went far in the EFL Trophy and at least the Carabao Cup or the FA, one of the two. So he had plenty of chances to notch some goals and to clearly rotate some players. What I'm going to do after the Bustin Villa Leeds UniTodd game as well is just do a quick scaling up and down the pyramid. See who's been promoted, crowned, relegated, and who we might face across the Championship, League 1, League 2 and the NLP next season. The only league that might not have finished yet is the Premier League. I'm not entirely sure on that one. They usually finish a week after the EFL games. It's looking like Dan's going to continue his solid form, actually. It really has been a thorn in many teams' sides in their title chases or playoff runs, as well as obviously securing that Europa League semi-final spot. Just trying to find out who he's actually playing next. Don't think I'm going to be able to touch the button. Actually, I can't remember if it's him or Louis. There's one of them that have got CSKA Sofia, and I remember thinking that's a bit of a gimme. Looking like a decent clean sheet for Big Bruce. Good work, Mr. Wyman. Mr. Bustin, any massively stupid rotation here? No, that's odd. I thought that was customary that in a big game on the last day of the season, when there's not much risk of rotation or fitness, you play your second string. Obviously, I want the drama. I do think maybe Warringham deserved the that final spot after the season. It would be very harsh on Matt if he dropped out on the final day. He's been there all season. But if you want to score 6 goals, getting the first in 2 minutes is a good start. Not only is Mr. Ron Atkinson not rotated, but he's got his pretty much best side out at first glance. Maybe Baborski for Diaby on the right, but it's hugely attacking, which is what he needs, and Lampard nearly getting a second. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness, it's 2 goals in 4 minutes. I know Alex hasn't got a lot to play for, but he's been one of the better teams in the division. Surely not. Yeah, he's been one of the better teams in the division. You'll realise here we've jumped in time, we've missed a goal, and it's all gone a bit pear-shaped. Mark Hughes making things interesting. There was a massive glitch on screen, massive glitch with my game bar and the video capture. Toyed with the idea of, I only realised when we were further along into the first half, toyed with the idea of starting all this again, but that wouldn't have been fair on anyone. I'd fairly and squarely lost, Wyman had fairly and squarely won, and Warrington was hopefully coasting towards the playoffs from his perspective, but Paul got 2 goals in the first 4 minutes, as you can see there. Martinelli looked like he'd stopped the unbelievable from happening, but Mark Hughes has put it back on the cards. 3 more goals required. No, 4 more goals. He needs a 6-goal difference. So we're back to the 2020 days, the COVID days of a shaky screen or a shaky camera with a dirty screen. In the very final game of the very final highlights reel, my technology has given up on me about 4 minutes too soon. I now have the unenviable task of trying to connect the video that I was already working with to this monstrosity, and we could still have some drama. Lampard, get the ball, mate. You need 3 more goals. I'm just sorry that this potentially mammoth moment can be pictured through a potato. A hell of an effort from Ron Atkinson's men, topping off what has been a fantastic second half of the season for Bustin Villa. Probably too much to do still now, but to beat one of the informed teams 4-1 or even be up by that much would be a cracking result on any other day. How on earth did I do this for an entire month of the original draft? My hands are getting sore and achy just by this. Can he? Oh. The levelling quality is going to dip quite substantially. First 15 minutes, lovely screen capture. A wonder to behold. Second half of this game, unfortunately, a bit of a shit show. Cracking effort from Paul, but congratulations to Matt Warrington after that scare from Saturday. He can thank Ned and Sir Bobby for my capitulation. And he can, I guess, thank Paul for not doing the unthinkable and putting another 3 in on top of a very impressive 4-1 victory. So I was going to go and explore the pyramid. That seems a bit silly now. What is going on? The game and every element of it is having a fit. But there we go, there's the final confirmation. Warrington in on goal difference by 3 goals, and he needed them because Paul had scored more. He would have won on the next metric to secure his place up against Louis in the semi-finals of the playoffs this summer. Tom Wall will go up against Dan Gregory to try and join Lawrence, Tom Dauncey and Mr. Cheshire in League One next season. Like I said, I was going to do a bit of a summary of the rest of the pyramid. I'm not going to do it while holding this because frankly it's just too much to try and focus and concentrate on at the same time. I might do a separate video if people are interested. But that brings, very anticlimactically, unless you're Matt Warrington, brings us to the end of the main part of this season. Bit of European football coming up just in terms of scorelines over the coming days. Otherwise, we're working towards the summer. I'll announce retirements, will get given the opportunity to get rid of managers, myself excluded because I've been forced. Everyone will have that opportunity, and then it will come to the actual draft situation, which is dictated by this final league positioning. So, for instance, Matt Warrington will be 11th in the PLP reckoning, despite no matter whether he gets promoted or not, because those playoffs won't have finished. We won't know who's got that final promotion spot before the draft starts on Saturday the 27th. Lots more updates, but you can relieve yourself from my voice and this shaky screen for the time being. Thanks for your input, everybody, and catch you soon. See ya.